Hello student, this is my second recording on chapter 2, reproduction in lower and higher animal. In recording 1, I have already explained you the reproduction in lower animals. Now in this recording, we will study the reproduction in higher animals. As you know, all of the higher animal reproduces sexually. Now sexual reproduction involves formation of gamete, fusion of gamete, meiosis. Now here the organism which is included in this chapter is human. And as you know, humans which are sexually reproducing as well as vivipary. Vivipary means they give birth to the young one. And the embryo develops within the body of the female. Now the process of reproduction in the human beings shows certain events. Now what those events are? Look here, it is gametogenesis, which is a formation of the gametes, the first step. Then after the gamete formation is a transfer of gamete called as insemination, which lead to the fusion of the gamete called fertilization, then the formation of zygote, then the implantation of zygote in the body, and embryogenesis, gestation, and the last one is parturition, that is expelling the completely developed embryo from the body. Now, the reproductive organ in the humans are testes and ovary, which are considered as a primary sex organ because in male testes gives sperms, in female the ovary gives egg or the ovum, which act as a female gamete. Now since these are directly giving the gametes, so called as a primary sex organ. Now if you see in the human beings, beside having these organs, they show different development in the different organs also. Now those organs are called as secondary sexual characters or secondary sex organ. Now what are they in the male? They are actually showing the development of mustache, beard, muscular body, hair on the chest, and large larynx. And in the female, they show the development of breast, broadening of the pelvis, and high speech. Now these two different individuals are called, showing the different characters, are called as a secondary sexual character or dimorphic sexual character. Now we will see one by one. We will first study the male primary reproductive organ, right? Testes and the part associated to the testes, and how it produces the gamete in the recording. Now again here complete male reproductive organ system is divided into two recordings. Today I will be completing certain part, and in the next recording I will give you the later part of the male reproductive system. Now first we see what actually are the male reproductive system consisting of, or it is a primary, remember. Now it consisting of testes. Again the testes actually are producing certain ducts which will be called as accessory ducts, and they are of way many in number. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. Now then it leads to then it has a glands which plays a crucial role in the formation of the reproductive product, that is seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and corpus gland. The last part is external genitalia, which includes the penis and scrotum. Now we'll go one by one. We'll first see what testes is and how it looks from inside. Then how the glands are formed and what role the accessory ducts are formed and what role the gland plays. And then what are the structure of external genitalia. Though it is not a very new thing, student, but you will be having a scientific knowledge of each and every organ. Now if you see the diagram of the reproductive system in male, you will find this diagram, which is a diagrammatic. Now see here, these are the two testes which are in a pair. They gives rise to a duct. You can see this duct. Okay, this is a tube, a duct which carries the produced of the testes from here through these ducts, and then it is actually comes in the urethra. This is a urethra. Right? Now when it is coming, there are three glands, 1, 2, 3, seminal vesicle, prostate, and the corpus gland, which pours their secretion, and as a result the final product is removed out of these urethra. Okay, so you have the testes, you have the ducts, you have the glands, and these two are also called as external genitalia. Why? Because they are outside the body of the human lower abdomen. Now see why they are called as external genitalia. If you see this diagram, see this is a part, this part, two things are hanging here, the scrotum and the penis. This is external to the body. Okay, that is why it is called the external genitalia. The certain part is inside. Now this is again it's a reproductive system. Certain part is outside, certain part is inside. Okay, and it is in the lower abdomen of the human being, human male. Okay, now we'll see the characteristics of the testes. What testes, how will you write? It is a male sex organ found in a pair. Clear, the shape of the testes is oval. It is 4 to 5 centimeter long, 2 to 3 centimeter wide and 3 centimeter thick. During the developmental stage, it originates from the mesoderm. No. When it develops in the 3rd month of embryonic development in the abdominal cavity of male baby. Now the testes are located, as far as the position is concerned, it's located in a pouch called scrotum, which arises from the lower abdominal wall, and the wall of the is made up of the smooth muscle called as dartos tunic. Now this scrotum is divided into 2 compartments, right and left, by a muscular septum. Now if you see the right and left, see this and this is a right and left scrotal sac. Now, when the testes are retained in the scrotum by a connective tissue called as gubernaculum. Now, here you see this. This is a tissues which are present here and holding the scrotum sacs connected here through these muscles called as a gubernaculum, and it is hanging from here, from the top, through a muscular band called as spermatic cord. Now, it develops actually when they initially in the babies, it develops, the testes are developing here, but later on it descends down in the scrotal sacs through this canal. This canal is called as inguinal canal, and there is a space. Sometime in some male, when through this canal, sometimes the intestine also comes down in the scrotum, and that condition is called as inguinal hernia. Now, in certain male, this testes does not descend down. It does not come in the sac. Right? Now, that condition is called the cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism is a condition when the testes fails to descend down in the scrotal sac, and this lead to the sterility in the male, and it is called as a cryptorchidism. Remember, one inguinal hernia when the testes comes in the scrotum, and this is when the testis does not come in the scrotal sac. Now we will see the internal structure. Now the internal structure, to see the internal structure, you have to have the diagrams in front. Now to study the testes internally, you will have to take a section of the testes, and the one section is longitudinal or vertical section, and second one the transverse section. Certain part you study in the longitudinal section, certain part you will study in the transverse section. Now when you take a longitudinal section, you will find the testes are outersidely protected by a fibrous muscles, and those muscles are called as tunica. Those muscles are actually made up of the connective tissues, and they are having fibers and the cells and the matrix. Now these outer covering or protective coating is called as tunica albuginea. It is a complete. Now outside the tunica albuginea, you have a another coating which is called as a tunica vasculosa, and the outermost incomplete peritoneal covering called as a tunica vaginalis. Now inside the testes, the entire region is divided into a number of compartments. How many number? The 2 to 300. It is not fixed. 200 to 300 numbers mean that internally it is divided into chambers. Now this chamber is called as, it's so tiny and thin that it is called as a testicular lobule. Each compartment is called the testicular lobule. So you will be having 200 to 300 testicular lobule. Now what does this testicular lobule consisting of? Inside the testicular lobule, you will be having 1 to 4, in some 1, in some 2, in some 3. So depending upon the person's condition, body build, they are having 1 to 4 coiled tubes called as the seminiferous tubules. बारीक बारीक ये होती है, ट्यूब्स होते हैं और पाइप जैसा बारीक पाइप कैपिलरी टाइप में होता है, राइट. सो दे आर कॉल्ड एज अ सेमिनिफेरस ट्यूब्यूल्स. दे आर प्रेजेंट इनसाइड द टेस्टिकुलर lobules. Now all these tubules of the testicular lobule, they comes out and merges outside. Okay, we'll see that also. Now inside that seminiferous, what is the internal structure of the seminiferous tubule, that you can study here in the transverse section. See, each tubule gives circular appearance. When they are cut, they are giving a circular appearance and they are membrane bound again. Inside this, you have a many cuboid epithelial cells. Those epithelial cells are called as the germinal epithelium. Now this germinal epithelium metamorphoses or get converted or produces the sperms, and those sperms remain inside and later on it comes out through the tube. Now beside having a germinal epithelium, this seminiferous tubule has the pyramidal shaped cells inside. Now these pyramidal cells are called as Sertoli cells. These are Sertoli cells and they provide the nourishment to the developing sperm. Now from the germinal epithelium to the formation of sperm, that process is called as a spermatogenesis, in common gametogenesis. Now in between actually the seminiferous tubule, you will find a patches of another type of the cells which are called as interstitial or Leydig cells. These cells plays very crucial role because it secretes the male hormone called as testosterone or androgen. Now we will see the second one. Second part of the reproductive system is the accessory duct. Accessory duct means again these. What? The seminiferous tubule which forms a sort of network. Now this accessory duct includes many duct at the different region. Now these tubules, they comes and merges and forms a sort of network at this region which is having a network of fine seminiferous tubule toward the posterior side, forms a structure called as a rete testes. Now this rete testes get converges again and reduces in number, and that number is 12 to 20 tubules arising from here. Rete testes are called as a vasa efferentia. These are vasa efferentia. Now all these vasa efferentia get merges into one fine, long, highly coiled tube. Now this tube comes in this side and remain in this region. This region is called as epididymis. And this coiled tubule here having three different regions. It is a C-shaped structure on the testes. Now this has a three region. The upper part is called the head of the epididymis and it is called the caput. The middle one is called as the body of epididymis and it is called the corpus, and the lower one is called as the cauda. Now in this region, the sperm get matured physiologically, and then from here they goes to another single tube, and this is vasa deferens. Now we will see the the position or the direction of the vasa deferens. Now vasa deferens comes out, this is epididymis, it comes out in a form of tube and enters into the lower abdomen, and then it passes through or over loops the urethra which is coming. This is a urethra which is coming out from the kidney and entering into the urinary bladder. It passes out and then from the overlooping it enters into this duct which is called as a urethra. And while entering into the urethra, it is again associated by three glands. So the region between the first gland, that is seminal vesicle, to the urethra is called as a ejaculatory. That region of the duct is called as a ejaculatory duct. Okay, now we see how the position is. Now when this seminal vesicle is here entering this gland pours the secretion and it is passing through the three glands, 1, 2, 3 glands. Okay, now so vasa deferentia, ejaculatory duct, urethra. Urethra is this duct. This is a urethra duct. Clear? Now we move to the another one. The urethra is a common duct for both for urine as well as for the production of the reproductive system, that is semen. Hence this portion is called the urinogenital system. Okay, now we'll move to the third part, that is a gland. As I've told you, there are three glands: seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and the corpus gland. Now so we'll go one by one. Seminal vesicles, what do? They lie posterior to the urinary bladder. Okay, they are in pair and they secrete seminal fluid. This seminal fluid forms 60% of the total volume of the semen, and it contains fructose, which provide the energy to the sperm, fibrinogen, which helps in the coagulation of the semen into bolus, and which helps in propulsion in the vagina. Right? Now the third things which is secreted is the prostaglandin. It's an hormone which helps in reverse peristaltic movement of the sperm in the vagina. Second gland is this prostate gland. Now prostate gland is actually here, it is appearing into two, but it is not two, it is one. Just to show you the position I've drawn, the connection. Otherwise it is present from all the side and it is one in number, but only it is having 20 to 30 lobes. And it is a large gland. Again, it is present below the urinary bladder. The prostate gland secrete white alkaline prostatic fluid, which forms 30% of the total volume of the semen. And the chemical constituent of the prostatic fluid is citric acid, acid phosphatase enzymes, and other enzymes. Now, these enzymes help the sperm to go through the acidic condition of the vagina. Now, last gland is a small, tiny, these two gland called as a corpus gland. It is also called as a bulbourethral glands. They are small in size and they are also present on either side of the urethra. They secrete the fluid, alkaline fluid, which is viscous in nature and helps in lubricating during copulation. Now, the last part, student, is the external genitalia. External genitalia, again I have already showed you, are penis and scrotal sac. Now what are they here? The penis is a copulatory. This is penis, which is a copulatory organ. It is cylindrical, muscular in origin. Now it containing the three bundles of erectile tissue, which plays a crucial role during the copulation. Now, what those tissues are, it will be having, if you see the longitudinal section of the penis, in the center you have a urethra. Then peripheral to the urethra, you have the tissue called as a corpus spongiosum, which is median inside. Then outer to it is a corpora cavernosa, and then you have a swollen tip of the penis, which is called the gland penis. This gland penis is covered by a folded skin, which you find here like this. This is called as prepuce or foreskin. Here in the diagram you can see foreskin, gland penis, and this one foreskin you can find. Now, the next one is scrotum. Now, scrotum, as it is a loose pouch of the skin holding the testes lower side. It divided into two compartments. See, if you see here you will find one, here you will find one. The two compartment, left and right, and developed by the muscles. Externally, these muscles of the scrotum is now called as a dartos, smooth muscles, and dartos tunica. Now, the testes in the pouch is held by a muscular tissue called as a gubernaculum tissue. Now, dartos muscle of the scrotum helps in drowning the testes closer downward or closer to the lower abdomen, and plays a very important role in maintaining the temperature of the testes, because the testes requires 2 to 3 degree less temperature than the body to produce the sperms. So during the winter, when the temperature is lower outside, and so they get contracted, the muscles, dartos muscles get contracted, and the testes comes closer to the abdomen. But during the summer, when the temperature is very high, they become loose and the testes drown down. So it helps in maintaining the temperature of the testes, which is always normally lower than the body temperature, and it is necessary. Now with this I have completed, student, the reproductive system of primary system of male primary sex organ in the male reproductive system. Now in the second recording I will be dealing with the what is semen, how the spermatogenesis takes place, and what is the structure of the sperm. Thank you.